Washington with this story. So, Shannon, some lawmakers are pointing to a recent court decision saying it has created an emergency situation. Tell us a little bit about what they're proposing because of that.
Well, hi, Jenna. That is what they're calling it. You know, back in August, a federal judge issued an injunction. It put a stop to government-funded embryonic stem cell research, said it violates existing law. There is now a temporary stay of that injunction for a few days while the case is playing out. And lawmakers like Senator Arlen Specter, who's long been involved in this issue, say scientists are left in limbo, scrambling to figure out if the research is legal, putting key research projects on hold. He and his counterparts on the House side are introducing legislation that could override those recent court decisions. Congresswoman Diana DeGette is one of those calling this an emergency. Here's what she told Fox.
All of this really puts all the researchers into a great deal of turmoil. They don't know what to do. They don't know if they can use federal funding for stem cell research or not.
And both these bills now on Capitol Hill are aimed at giving some clarity to that issue, Jenna.
Well, Shannon, it's crowded on Capitol Hill, isn't it? There's a lot of bills kind of floating around, and we know we're just ahead of those midterms. What are the chances of something actually getting passed?
Yeah, they've got a very full legislative plate up here. It's not going to happen without a fight, I can tell you that, because there are plenty of members on both sides of the Hill who say this is a serious ethical and moral issue. They believe that embryos are living human beings and that destroying them in the name of science isn't okay, especially when you're talking about using taxpayer dollars to do that. Here's Congressman Mike Pence.
I think that destroying an innocent human life is morally wrong, but I also think it's morally wrong to take the taxpayer dollars of millions of pro-life Americans and use it to fund research that involves the destruction of a human embryo in the name of science.
And as you mentioned, they're very busy up here on the Hill, so we'll see in the very short time they have whether they get to this one, Jenna.
A lot of politics involved. Are we hearing anything from the scientific community on any parts of these issues?
They're definitely bubbling up. I've talked to scientists on both sides of this issue. You've got Dr. James Shirley. He is one of the plaintiffs that brought that initial case, who says, you know, the public isn't being told the whole truth about the necessity of embryonic stem cell research. He works with adult stem cells. He says they're not the same. We all admit that, but you can still get to very important cures. Right now, there is a hearing up on the Hill. This is playing out in the Senate. And we've heard there from the head of the National Institutes of Health, Dr. Francis Collins. He's on the other side, who says it is essential. We must have the money for this embryonic stem cell research. He's there arguing for it, but there are a lot of folks that say because it's so controversial, if you are for it, why not let private dollars fund it? Jenna?
Well, it's a big story. Thanks for bringing it to us, Shannon. Shannon Bream,
Sure.
Indeed.